Have you ever thought about what happens when you lose a tooth?
I mean, most of us will probably have to deal with that at some point, right?
It's like this inevitable thing, and then suddenly you're stuck with these choices, like dentures,
Yeah,
implants.
right.
And those are fine, but I know they're just not the same as having your real teeth.
No, they're not. They're definitely a compromise.
So what if I told you that scientists in Japan are looking into ways to actually regrow human teeth,
Yeah, this is some really cutting-edge research we're diving into today.
like completely regrowing them?
Totally. Exploring whether we can regenerate our teeth.
I mean, it sounds pretty wild, right? Like regeneration.
Yeah, it's almost like science fiction.
Because, the common knowledge is you get two sets of teeth, your baby teeth and your adult teeth, and that's it,
You're done.
right? Once those adult teeth are gone, that's it, game over.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Or is it? That's the question.
Right. Like, could there be some hidden possibility of actually having a third set of teeth somewhere inside of us just waiting to be, like, switched on?
That is the driving question behind this deep dive.
Okay, so let's get into this. We're looking at research from the Medical Research Institute Kitano Hospital in Osaka, Japan, and the lead researcher there is Katsu Takahashi.
That's right.
So what's the big scientific discovery that's making these researchers believe that a third set of teeth might actually be achievable?
Okay, so the key here is they've discovered these things called like dormant tooth buds. They seem to be present in all of us. And they found this specific protein called USAG1 that basically acts like a stop sign
Oh, wow.
for the growth of these tooth buds. So it's like a brake pedal, preventing them from developing into new teeth.
So like a biological mechanism that's stopping us from getting a third set of teeth.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So how do they even start testing this whole idea of like lifting the brakes and allowing these teeth to grow?
Well, they began by experimenting with animals first. Mice and ferrets specifically. And what they found was, I mean, really amazing. They block the action of this USAG1 protein, and the animals actually started to regrow teeth.
No way.
Yeah, and the photos from the lab studies are pretty incredible. You can actually see these new teeth emerging.
Wow. That's wild. So how do they actually block the USAG1 protein? What do they do?
So they developed a very targeted treatment. It's an antibody treatment specifically designed to go after the USAG1 protein and stop it from working. And there was a study published last year that detailed just how effective this antibody was in those mice. Not only did it help them regrow teeth, but it also showed some promise for addressing other, like, dental problems that we see in humans.
I mean, this is really revolutionary stuff, isn't it?
It is.
It's not just lab experiments anymore, is it? I mean, this research has progressed to the point of human clinical trials.
Exactly.
Which is huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
They're actually happening right now at Kyoto University Hospital, and the trial started in October, I believe. Wow.
So these adult volunteers are now receiving that same antibody treatment that blocks USAG1.
They are.
So what are the lead researchers saying about how far they've come? I mean, what are their thoughts on all this?
Well, Takahashi himself, the project leader, he called this technology Völlig, which is German for completely new, which I think really highlights how innovative this whole approach is, especially in the field of dentistry.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a total game changer, especially when you consider the options we have now for dealing with tooth loss, which can be really expensive and not always the best.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Dentures and implants, they can be really pricey, and they often involve some pretty invasive procedures. So the idea of being able to just naturally regrow a lost tooth, that is a much more appealing solution.
Absolutely. But we have to be realistic about the timeline here, right?
Yeah.
This isn't something that's going to be widely available anytime soon.
You're absolutely right. Takahashi himself actually uses a very fitting analogy for this. He calls this current stage the begin, which is German for beginning, and he compares the journey of getting to widespread tooth regeneration to running back-to-back ultramarathons.
Wow.
Which, really emphasizes that this is a long and complex process that's going to take a while.
Yeah, that puts it into perspective. But what are other experts in the field saying? I mean, is there a lot of excitement around this work?
There is a lot of positive feedback from other experts. Angray Kang, who's an immunotechnology expert at Queen Mary University of London.
Okay.
He's not involved in Takahashi's research at all.
Okay.
But he described these findings as leading, exciting, and definitely worth following closely. He also pointed out something really interesting. There's already a drug being used to treat osteoporosis, which targets a protein that's very similar to USEG1.
Oh, wow.
So it suggests that interfering with this type of protein is something that we can do safely in humans already.
Yeah.
It's already happening.
That's a great point. It kind of lends more credibility to the idea that this could work in humans.
Yeah.
What about other experts? What are they saying?
Yeah, so Chen-Kai Zhang, he is a clinical professor of endodontics at the University of Hong Kong.
Okay.
He acknowledges that Takahashi's method is, innovative and it has potential, but, he also brings up a really important point about this whole concept of a latent third set of teeth.
Okay.
He calls it revolutionary, but also controversial.
Oh, interesting. Controversial in what way?
Well, he's basically saying we can't always assume that the results we see in animals are going to translate directly to humans.
Right.
There are biological differences between species.
Right.
And he also raises some really practical questions about these regrown teeth themselves.
Like what?
Would they actually be functional for chewing?
Yeah.
Would they integrate properly with the surrounding tissues in the mouth?
Right.
And would they look natural? Would they blend in with a person's existing teeth?
Yeah, that all makes sense. Those are really important considerations. So is this research aimed at, anyone who's lost a tooth? Or is there a specific target group they're focusing on right now?
Yeah, so currently they're focusing on a particular group of people who are born with a condition called oligodontia.
Okay.
Which is where they're missing 6 or more of their permanent teeth.
Wow.
Yeah, and it affects about 0.1% of the population. So for these individuals, the challenges are really significant. They struggle with things like eating and even just social interactions, especially in a culture like Japan where there can be some stigma around missing teeth and people might use face masks to hide their smiles.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
So for them, a naturally regrown tooth could be absolutely life-changing.
Absolutely. More than just cosmetic.
Exactly.
But truly impactful.
Takahashi actually called the drug a potential game changer, specifically for this group of patients. And their main goal is actually to develop this treatment for children with this congenital condition, with the hope that it will be available by around 2030.
Wow. So they're really focusing on the future generation with this.
They are.
But the current clinical trial isn't involving those young patients with oligodontia, right?
Yet.
Okay.
The main focus of the trial that's happening right now with the adults is to really make sure that the drug is safe for people to use.
Okay.
That's the priority right now.
Yeah.
So the participants in this trial, they're healthy adults who have lost at least one tooth.
Okay, that makes sense. So what's the chance that those adults in this trial will actually experience tooth regrowth?
Takahashi himself has said that the likelihood of actual tooth regeneration happening in this particular trial is pretty small. The main goal right now is to confirm that the drug is safe for humans.
Right, of course. But even if they don't see widespread regeneration in this adult trial, the implications for the future, especially for aging populations, are pretty massive, right?
Yeah. Even if it's initially limited, think about it. Countries like Japan, where over 90% of people over the age of 75 have lost at least one tooth. That's a huge portion of the population.
Yeah.
And, being able to naturally regrow teeth could significantly improve their quality of life.
Absolutely.
Takahashi even mentioned that this could potentially contribute to people living longer, healthier lives by maintaining good oral health.
Wow, so this isn't just about aesthetics. It's about overall well-being and health in general.
Exactly.
I mean, this research is truly fascinating.
It really is. It makes you think maybe one day losing a tooth won't be such a big deal anymore.
Yeah, maybe the idea of it being a permanent loss will become a thing of the past.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think about what the future holds. I mean, if we can achieve natural tooth regeneration, what other seemingly impossible feats of biology might we unlock in the years to come?
That's the question. What else might be possible?
It's something to think about. It's definitely food for thought.
It is.